Okay, so in last class, which topic we have seen? TF has done, CLA done, outputs and taint. Okay. So in today's class, we will discuss about workspace. Let's wait for a few more minutes. Okay. In the meanwhile, and one more thing for tomorrow, class will be at morning session from 10:30. Why? Because from afternoon you are going to have the mocks. Every Saturday we'll be having the mocks, no? But for tomorrow, I'll take in the class on morning. Why? Because you'll get some free time to study before the mock. Okay, mocks will happen till 5 or 6. 10:30. No, offline only. Timings will be changing. Okay. Hmm. For mentor, we have openings for mentor now. Sure, just go to Venkatesh and submit your resume. Okay. Hmm. You can try it for temporary purpose here. Hmm? Okay. If you give your resume, they'll conduct interview. That's it. So funny, I have seen the requirements. Okay. I will discuss with you later. Mentoring is only for offline, Bhavani. Okay. So we can start session now. So in today's class, I'm gonna teach you the concept of workspaces. Which one? Terraform workspace, which is gonna be very, very important for the interview as well as real time also. Okay. So let me go and give the command LL to list here. So already in last class, we have seen the concept of TF vars, right? Okay. So now let's explain the concept of Terraform workspace. But before workspace, let's go and see the concept of locals. Basically in Terraform, Local's main purpose is to define the values. If you have a value, if you want to use the same value for multiple times in Terraform, so the thing you're gonna do is you are going to set the value in the local block. Once if you define a value on this block, you can use them for multiple times. Changing the value in local will be replicated to all the resource. Simply define the value and use it for multiple times. That is the whole overview of the local. In Terraform configuration file, you have a lot of resources. Every resource is going to use the same value. In that case, giving the value for each and every block separately, put the block on the local block, that value. So automatically every resource is gonna use it. So let me go and explain with the basic example. I'll go with main.tf. In today's class, I'm gonna show you first of all how to create VPC, inside VPC bucket, inside VPC subnet and EC2. Here already you are having EC2, correct or not, sir? By using the below syntax, can you tell me how to write the block for VPC? Tell me how to write. Resource AWS VPC with block label 1 I am taking it as. Okay. So to create VPC, what are the important blocks we need to have? Let me show you. I'll open the browser and I'll go for VPC, then you can able to see it. So if I click on create VPC, what is the first thing you want to give for VPC? Tags. And second thing you want to give is cider. If you want to know what are the important blocks for VPC, without giving anything, try to click on create VPC. Is it showing a red mark here? If it is showing red mark, means it is mandatory. Okay. So first of all, you need to give here cider block. What I need to give? So give CIDR underscore block. I want to give the series of 10.0.0.0/16. I can give a cider block. And if I want to give name, how can I define the name? Inside the tags. Tell me, tags, just to give name is equal to, for example, let's take dev VPC. Which VPC? Dev VPC. And here name of the server will be dev server. Let's take dev server. Similarly, if I want to create inside VPC, I want to create subnet. Tell me the block how to write subnet. Resource AWS subnet with block level 2. Next, for subnet, what is the important thing you need to have? Again, go for AWS console. Try to check here. If you want to know what are the important things, just to go to here and try to check. It will come automatically. If I want to create subnet, see, click on create subnet. I am not giving any values. I'm just clicking on, first of all, select your VPC. It's very, very important. If I select any one of them. If I click on create subnet, what is the mandatory thing again here? Cider block, correct? Just put here cider block. CIDR block is equal to, I'll give 10.0.1.0/16. And if I want to give name, tags is equal to name clear. So now you have the VPC, you have the subnet, and you have the EC2 instance. Now my main purpose is I want to attach VPC to subnet, and this I want to connect my subnet to EC2, subnet to VPC and EC2 to subnet. So I want to attach them. So how you can do it? It is very easy. First of all, let me go and show how to attach this subnet to VPC. So I am giving here VPC underscore ID. So my subnet need to attach to the VPC, but which VPC? Whenever I execute AWS VPC with block enable 1, that will get an ID. Take that ID. That means automatically, if I execute this block, VPC will be created, and that ID I'm gonna use for this subnet. Okay, like that. Similarly, in the same way, I want to attach my EC2 to the subnet. Now, by using above value, tell me how to attach the subnet to the EC2 instance. First of all, subnet underscore ID is equal to, tell me, if I create AWS subnet with block label 2, I will get an ID. Now attach that subnet ID to my server. So this is the way how exactly you are going to interlink. Just to give Terraform FMT. I'm just formatting. So now give a main.tf. Now you can go. First of all, in AWS, just I'll change it, don't worry. So first of all, here resource what I'm creating, VPC with block name 1. I'm giving CDR block value and name of the name will be dev VPC. Second, resource I'm giving subnet with label name 2. But here I'm attaching the VPC ID. Which VPC ID? Whenever I execute AWS VPC with label name 1, that will get an ID. Attach this VPC to my subnet. Clear. Similarly, in the server also, I want to attach the server to subnet. For the subnet ID, whenever I execute AWS subnet with block enable number, it will get an ID. Attach that subnet ID to my EC2 instance. So is the connecting of the resource clear for all of you now? Yes. And the one thing is here block name should be unique. For example, for VPC block name is 1, but for server also block name will be 1. So it will not accept. That is the reason I'm going to give it as D. So now tell me in the above one, what is the repeated value all the time? Dev, server, dev, subnet and dev. So is the dev value repeated each and every time or not, sir? Yes. When the value is repeated, take the value on local block. Which block? So I'm going to take it as locals. In the locals, I'm going to put now as this one. Just to put here the value. So for example, here I'm giving env. What I'm giving? The name of the env will be dev, for example. What is the name of the env? Dev. So that means instead of writing the value dev directly here, what I'm deciding to do is take the value from local block called env. What is the value of local block env? Dev. That means here it is going to replicate as dev. Same here also for the subnet. Instead of defining the value dev directly, take variable and the value will be local dot env. What is the value of local dot env? Dev. So dev hyphen subnet will be dev subnet. Similarly, here also, instead of giving dev, take the value from local block env. So in this case, whenever in future, if I want to change value from dev to test, automatically instead of changing 3 places, simply I can change it here or not, sir? In future, I want to create prod. Instead of changing 3 times, can I change it to prod here? This is the concept of using locals. Which one? The main agenda of local is whenever the value is repeating, don't give the value multiple times. Give the value one single time. Okay, in the local block. Now the local block is going to give the value to all the resource block. Now let's go and give the commands. First command is Terraform init, which is not required. Already we have the plugin. Second command is Terraform plan. Without plan, we can go for apply also, but go for plan. Here, okay, sub CADR block is not invalid. Wait. Basically, the block we need to change the value. So instead of 1, I am gonna pick it as 0/24. I mean, it's a value mistake. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna put as 24 itself. How many you are going to create now? One is dev VPC. Second one is dev subnet. Third one is now the value from local block is replicating or not, sir? Now give Terraform, apply, auto, approve. Here you can use -F and auto approve, or you can use single hyphen auto approve. That's fine. So now it is going to create VPC. Inside VPC subnet. Inside subnet you are going to launch now EC2 server. Now go ahead and check. If I go and see my EC2 instances, it is loading slowly. Filter with all servers. I'm going for running. So now which server you are getting now? Dev server, correct or not, sir? So dev server is on which VPC now? Just go and check. In the networking section, dev is on which VPC? Dev VPC. You can get it. Wait. Let me click on refresh. Console is too slow. This is my dev server. Coming to networking. It is on which VPC? It is on which subnet again? Are you seeing them or not, sir? Here dev subnet and it is on dev VPC. Correct or not? Like that. So similarly, if I want to go and create testing infrastructure, so now what I'll do, VM main.tf. Instead of dev, if I want to create my testing infrastructure, what I'll put now? Instead of dev, can I replace test or not, sir? So in this case, automatically what happened? No, instead of changing the value multiple places, change it on local block. It is going to replicate to all the rest of the blocks. Go and give apply now. Now you can see modified symbol. Modified means tilde. Let me show you. Plus means creating, minus means deleting. But you can go and see, are you seeing tilde symbol here? Tilde define modified. Dev subnet is going to modify as test. Dev VPC is going to modify as test VPC. Dev server is going to modify as test server. So now if you go and see, automatically dev is going to remove. Instead of dev, you are going to get as test. Let me go and show. Now see, what is the name of the server here? Test. This test server is going to create on which VPC now? Test VPC. And again, which subnet? Go and check. Wait, it is not reflected. The worst part is this internet is too bad here. Like I don't know why. Every time it is making me irritated. Hmm? For previous class, it is working very fine, but now it's very lagging. Hmm. 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 Oh, laptop. To Sunday it is. 。  Hmm. 。  。  。  。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . No, for my previous class, network is very good, but only for your class, it's not getting as per my expectation. Hmm. How many classes? Two. Okay. Monday will be the last time. Bash scripting is very, very important for you. You need to learn it definitely. Go ahead and click on testing server now. Testing server is on which network here? Test VPC. It is on which subnet? Like this. So here we are going to work with this. So this is the concept of the locals. Now is the concept of locals clear for all of you now? Everybody. Online, can you please confirm is the concept of locals clear for all of you or not? Okay. So now here comes the main point now. That is about the workspaces. Which one? Sir, previously you create a dev infrastructure. But after you create testing infrastructure, dev is removing or not, sir? Why it is happening means you are doing everything on single workspace. Which one? In real time, we will be having the multiple workspace to create multiple infrastructure. For example, let me go and tell you in this way. For today's class, entire the what we call the code will be same. Okay, the single code we can finish the entire class today. That is the power of this session today. So if I want to create developing infrastructure, I'll create a workspace. Okay. So if I want to create testing infrastructure, I'll create a separate workspace. No, sir, if I want to create a production infrastructure, again, I'll create a separate workspace. So like this, how many infras you want to create for each and every infra, you are going to create a separate workspace. What is the meaning of workspace? If you remember the concept of namespace in Linux, same concept is applicable here. That is called as workspace. What is namespace in the Kubernetes? Namespace is used for isolation purpose. That means whatever the objects you create in one namespace, you cannot able to see it on other namespace. Here also in Terraform, if I create a infra on developing namespace, so it is dev namespace. So the infra will not affect on the testing namespace. Let me go and show you. I'll increase some font size. So it is my dev infra. I'm creating it on dev namespace. Which namespace? Like dev workspace, we can call it as workspace. So similarly, if I want to create testing infra, I want to create testing workspace. In test workspace, I'll be going and I'll be creating the test infra. Similarly, in the same way, I want to create the prod workspace. Why? Because I want to create the prod infra. What I want to create? Prod infra. So like this, the real-time work is going to happen. So for each and every infrastructure, you need to create a separate workspace. So in that case, if I be working on developing infrastructure, this testing and production will not work. In the same way, if I work on testing infrastructure, this dev and prod will not be affecting. In the same way, if I work on prod infrastructure, testing and developing is not gonna affect anymore. Why? Because we are providing the isolation. What we are going to provide? So now here if you go and see, it will use it to create the infrastructure on multiple environments. Each environment is going to isolate with each other. If you work on developing environment, it won't affect on the testing infrastructure. But previously, if you are working on testing infra, is developing affected or not, sir? But here it is not going to possible. If you work on test, developing is not going to affect anymore. The default workspace in Terraform is going to be default. And all the resource we are going to create in Terraform by default will be storing on. Till now, you create a lot of resources. Each and every resource by default in Terraform is going to store on the default workspace. And each workspace will have the separate state file. For example, I'm creating 3 workspaces now. Each and every workspace will have the separate state file that is going to store on the folder called Terraform tf state.d. Let me show you. If I give the command ll-a, are you seeing any folder called terraform.tf state.d? Are you able to see? You won't see. Why? Because until and unless you create any new workspace, you cannot see the folder called Terraform tf state.d. So by default, in an overview, I can say to create multiple environments in real time, you will use multiple workspaces. Each workspace will be isolating from separate workspace. That means if you work on testing infra, it won't affect dev and prod. Okay, by default workspace in Terraform is gonna be default. All the resources till now we created is going to be on default workspace. If I go and give the command Terraform state, not state, Terraform workspace list. What you are getting now? Default workspace. So now, if you have multiple configurations, you can use Terraform TF-vars also. But for this class, I am continuing with the same configuration for all the resources. But you know, if you have different configuration, you can use different TF-vars. But for your easy and understanding, I'm gonna use same file for all the workspaces. But if you have different configuration, use TF-vars concept. Here in the notes, if you go and see, for each and every workspace, here I have used the same concept. I mean like same notes. Okay, so I'm not changing it anymore. But the only thing I want to change is now, I'll show you Terraform workspace new dev. That means I'm gonna create the workspace and I need to switch it. You create the workspace called dev and you are switching it to the dev. That means both will happen at same time, creating and switching. Give the command Terraform workspace list. Currently we're on which workspace here? Dev currently. If you create a new workspace, automatically come to that workspace. Okay. The only thing I want to change now is in the main.tf. Sir, here, what is the env I have given? Test. But currently I'm on which environment? Dev. So every time if you change the environment, this value need to be changed. For that purpose, I'm going to take this value from the variable called Terraform dot. Correct. Terraform dot workspace. This will indicate my current workspace. What is my current workspace? Dev. Automatically this will become dev. In future, if I go to test, automatically this will become test. In future, if I go to prod, automatically it will become. That means instead of changing this manually, every time we change to new workspace, it will automatically change itself like that. Now just to go ahead and give Terraform apply. Don't do anything, just to go ahead and give Terraform apply. So if I use Terraform apply, automatically I'm going to create the dev infrastructure. If you go to here in the background, in the meanwhile, I'll go and click this refresh. Okay. So it's creating 3 of them, dev VPC, dev server and dev subnet. Which one? All the resources we create on Terraform by default will store on Terraform workspace. That means if you create any resource in Terraform, default it will be on default workspace only. That's it. But I am creating it on dev workspace now. Go and check it now. Now currently if you go and see, are you getting dev server? So in future, if I want to create testing infrastructure, what I'll do? Directly I'll go and give the command Terraform workspace new test. What I'm giving? Test. That's it. Now you don't do anything, just to go and give Terraform apply. If I give Terraform apply, automatically the same file will run on the testing infrastructure. But this time, my developing infrastructure is not going to affect anymore. Why? Because we are using the separate workspace. Go ahead and see here. Currently, dev is running or not, sir? If I click refresh, my testing will run automatically now. Wait for some time. modify the names and everything. It provides isolation. That you need to understand the creator of Terraform actually. Okay. For example, if I ask you what is the value of 2 plus 2, tell me the behind the scenes. It's possible. So see, now you have the developing infra and you have the testing infra. Both are running simultaneously or not, sir? But previously when you do, when the test will come, developing is going to remove. And you can see testing server is running on which VPC and which subnet. Check out here. Are you seeing it as test VPC and test subnet? Wait, it will come the values, it will show it. Sometime it will take some time to load actually. I'll reselect. Select testing now. Testing is on which VPC? It's on which subnet? That means, is my testing infrastructure disturbing my developing infrastructure anymore? No, it won't disturb. Why? Because here we are using the different workspace. What I'm using? Similarly, in production also, if I want to create the infra, what I need to do now? Create the workspace. Terraform, workspace, prod. That's it. Now do Terraform apply. Do I need to change the name of my environment here? No. Why? Because in the main.tf already I taken a variable. This variable will change when I change my environment. Currently I'm on production environment, so automatically it will change. Terraform apply. Now automatically I'll create the production infrastructure. Is it going to disturb my dev and test now? No, it won't disturb anymore. For each client. Now if I go and click on refresh, automatically I'll be getting production server, but it is not going to disturb dev and test. Are you getting prod server now? So now tell me, is my current infrastructure disturbing the previous infrastructure? No. Why? Because every infrastructure is isolated, and this isolation is going to provide with the concept of workspace. So this is then high level overview about the Terraform workspace. So online is the concept of Terraform workspace clear for all of you know? Can you please confirm in chat box? And offline is the concept clear for all of you know? Okay, fine. So now how many infras I have? That means how many state files I need to have? But if I give LL, I can only see one state file, Terraform TF state. Why? Because it is a default state file. So we are not going to recommend it. If you go to this folder, let me go and show this folder for you. You can see 3 different folders, files now. Dev test and if I want to go and check the production state file, give cd prod. Oh, sorry. Are you seeing the state file now? If I give the command Terraform state list, you can be able to see list of results from production point of view. So this is the point what I said for you. Initially, what I said for you is, sir, for every workspace, your state file is going to store separately. In which folder? Terraform.tf state. It is going to be the interview question as well as examination point of view question also. If you are having multiple workspaces, in that case, how Terraform will maintain the each state file separately for each workspace? The answer will be terraform.tf state.d. That is the point I mentioned here. What I mentioned here, all the results we create on Terraform by default will store on the default workspace, but all the workspace state files will be storing on terraform.tf state.d. Is it clear for all of you now? Yes. Now we learned the concept of the Terraform, but in Terraform there are some bullet points you need to keep in the mind for the interview as well as examination point of view. Let's tell, I want to delete an infrastructure in Terraform. How can you delete? There are two different points you need to understand. Point number one is you cannot delete the current infrastructure. For example, currently I'm on which workspace? If I want to see, I can use list. List will show me the list of workspace. Star is on prod. No, sir, I want to see only my workspace name. You show. Show will show you the current workspace name only directly. So if I want to delete the current workspace, the command will be Terraform workspace delete. Workspace name will be prod. So it is not going to happen. Why? Because read this one for me. Your workspace called production is your active workspace. You cannot delete this current active workspace. Please switch to another and try. That means currently we're on prod. So you cannot delete the current workspace. If you want to delete, go to some other workspace and delete this one. So if I want to switch to test Terraform workspace, how do you go from one workspace to another workspace? Select is the command. Terraform workspace, select, and name of the workspace will be test. Now currently I'm on which workspace? Test. Are you able to see it now? Now try to delete the workspace. Again, it is not going to happen. Why? Because read this one for me. What is the error? It is telling that array man, you are trying to remove the production workspace, but in production workspace already there are some resource running. So first of all, if you want to delete the workspace, delete the resource, then come to delete the workspace. Note point number two. Note point number one, you cannot delete your current workspace. Note point number two, without deleting the resource, you cannot delete the workspace. Is the two points clear for all of you know? Yes. Now go back to prod, delete the workspace, and then delete the production. Okay. So what is the command to switch from one workspace to another workspace? Terraform workspace, select. Select spelling is wrong. SELECT. Select prod. I am on production workspace now. See. Now give the command Terraform destroy. Same concept. Can anyone switch off the AC there? It's getting too cool. Off. Again, you can off it. You can off it from there itself. Just try it from there. Is the resource got destroyed or not, sir? Is it destroyed or not? Now go back to testing. Which workspace you need to go? Terraform workspace, select. Test. Now try to delete the workspace called Terraform workspace prod. Okay. Terraform workspace delete prod. Oh, sorry. Prod spelling is wrong. Wait. Prod. Is the prod gone or not, sir? Just give the command Terraform workspace list itself. Are you having prod anymore? No, you don't have anymore, right? So similarly, I want delete testing workspace. First of all, I want to remove the resource in testing. So give the command Terraform workspace. Sorry, Terraform destroy and then go for Terraform workspace delete itself. So it is the point what you need to understand. Yes. Structure is same, but keys and values will change. So it destroyed. Now, if I want to delete the resource call, I mean like workspace call test. Currently, I'm on which workspace now? Test. Can I delete my testing workspace now? Currently, I'm on test only now. I want to go to dev. So what is the command to switch from one workspace to another workspace? Select dev and delete it the delete gone. It's gone now. Now go and give the command Terraform workspace list. Are you seeing the workspace test anymore? No. Similarly, delete the resource of developing infra and go to default and delete the dev itself. Everything you can do. Done. So finally, go to default workspace by using Terraform workspace. Select default and give the command Terraform workspace delete dev. That's it. So now if you go and see the list, you will be having only one that is called as default. And the point number 3 is, can we delete the default workspace? Answer will be no. You cannot delete default workspace. It is not acceptable in Terraform. So these 3 will be the major note points of this topic. First one, we need to empty the workspace before we delete. Second one, we cannot delete the current workspace. We need to switch and delete. And third one, we cannot delete the default workspace. These 3 will be the important note points. Topic everybody will learn. But if you learn the note points, then only it is going to be helpful for you. Is the concept clear for all of you know? So this is the entire concept of Terraform workspace. And command to see list of workspaces, Terraform workspace list. To create Terraform workspace new. To show the current workspace, Terraform workspace show. To switch, Terraform workspace select. To delete, Terraform workspace delete. So these are the only 5 comments in the Terraform workspace. If you can go and see delete, list, new, select. This is the complete concept of Terraform workspace itself. So is the workspaces concept clear for everybody now? All in, what about you? Can you please confirm is the workspaces clear for all of you or not? Okay. So the next one will be concept of, wait, I think done. S3 backend setup is there. Okay, this is the one thing we need to do. Okay. So S3 backend setup. So currently tell me one thing. I am managing the state file. Correct or not, sir? It got stuck, man. S3 backend setup means currently where you are managing the state file. State file, where you are managing the state file in your local, right? For example, if you put state file on your local, only you can be able to access the state file. For example, if your fellow developer want to see the state file, in that case, what will happen? You are not responding. Only give me a couple of minutes. The system got stuck. I'll restart the session. Okay. Give me a couple of minutes. Okay, fine. So now here I'm gonna show you the concept of S3 backend setup. Which one? Backend setup. So currently, whenever if you create the infrastructure, all the infra resource is gonna be stored on which file? State file. But state file will be storing on only our local. For example, in your organization, you have multiple teammates. Okay. All of them, if they want to access the statefile, how you can do it? You need to put on central location. That is what we can call as S3 bucket here. Which one? So let me go and explain the concept in the real-time scenario. So you'll be getting the understanding. So state file control F. Here you have. So state file S3 backend setup means it will store the state file information on the bucket. When we modify the infrastructure, it will update the state file in the bucket. But why we need to put the state file on the backend? Why? Because state file is very, very important in Terraform. Without a state file, we cannot track the infra. If you lost it, it can be managed. It can't be managed the infrastructure. So let me explain you. For example, I'll be taking this one from here. I'll connect to my EC2 instance and I'll explain. See, this is you, for example. This is you. Okay. You have the state file on your laptop. Okay. But some of the other DevOps engineer want to modify the infrastructure. You are on the leave, for example. Okay. These two people want to modify the infrastructure. You are on the leave. See, state file is on your local laptop. But if these two people want to access the state file, will they able to access? No. That is the reason we don't put state file on the local laptops. If you put the state file on the local laptop, ultimately it's going to be very, very difficult. That is the reason in real time, if you are having multiple Terraform developers, if you want to give state file for all the developers in real time. Okay. So we are going to create the bucket. Inside the bucket, we are going to put the state file. If you put the state file in bucket, everybody can able to access or not, sir? That is the first reason. Second reason is if you put the state file on your bucket, okay, sorry, if you put the state file on your local, unfortunately, your laptop is lost. Or if someone delete the state file, then what will you do? Very risky, right? That is the reason we need to put the state file on central location where everybody can able to access. So that is the reason we are going to use the state file backend setup. So in today's session, I'm gonna show you how to secure the state file. First of all, here in the main.tf, you need to go and write here state file backend code. And again, state file backend code is going to be given by the Terraform official documentation. You can go here and you can type here simply Terraform S3 backend setup. Okay. If you go and see, automatically code will be given by the Terraform itself. You just simply copy the code and you can paste it on the server. Okay. I'm copying it here and I'm pasting it here. Okay. But it's not copied properly. So I'm using Terraform and backend is here. Apart from S3, you have some other backend also. Okay. So name of the bucket. Here you need to create the bucket and you need to give it. So I'm going to here. See how bad the internet is. It is making me a lot of frustration. Every day the same problem. So I'm going to here and I'm creating a S3 bucket. What I'm creating here? So go here and try to create a S3 bucket. So open S3 tab. So go and create a bucket. So I'm bucket name, I'm giving it as Terra backend Swiggy bucket. For example, let's take, okay, any name you can take. I'm going to copy this one. And one more thing, for bucket, you need to enable the versioning. I think all of you know what is the purpose of versioning. So once if you create the bucket on your in your AWS console, just to go and come here and replace the bucket name. That means I'm going to store my object in this bucket. What I'm going to store here, I'm going to store the state file. What I'm going to store here, state file. You can give folder name also. For example, here I'm giving folder name it as dev slash terraform dot tf state. That means in the folder called dev, my state file is going to store and region is US East 1. That's it. So now if we go and see the moment if I give Terraform apply, automatically my infra will create, but state file will be presenting on the S3 bucket. But remember, whenever if you add a new block on Terraform, you need to use Terraform init. Instead of init, if I give Terraform plan, it won't accept. What is asking here? Backend initializing required. Please run Terraform init. Whenever if you add a new block, definitely return Terraform. Otherwise, plugins will not download. If plugins will not download, it is not going to accept. So wait, guys, it's testing our patience. Give the comment Terraform init once. Next to you Terraform plan. Which one? So it's going to create the execution plan. And of course, it is optional. You can go and get Terraform apply. That's it. Now, automatically state file will be storing on that particular bucket. Okay. So currently, how many resources you are going to create? 3 resources. How many? VPC, subnet, EC2 instance. Now in the bucket, if I go and see here, this is my bucket. I'll go to this Terraform backend bucket. You can see the folder first of all. What is the name of the folder? Dev. I have given the name as dev. You can give whatever folder you want, but still the infra is creating now. So wait for until it created completely. Now go and check here. Click on refresh. Are you seeing dev folder? Folder name is up to your choice. Click on this one. Select this one and click on open. Are you able to see state file here now? Able to see it or not? So from this, not only me, every other developer can able to see it. Why? Because I have put it on the bucket. Bucket, we can give permission for all the people or not, sir? You know how to give IAM. Currently, what is the size here? 7.9 KB. So even though if I add any other resource, automatically the resource information will be updated here. For example, if I go and give the command Terraform state list, what you are getting now? You are getting 3 resources. But if I want to delete one specific resource, let's say I want to delete server. So what I can give Terraform destroy -auto approve -target is equal to I'm going to remove only one server, that is this instance 3. So automatically if I delete the object here, State file is going to remove the object from the S3 bucket also. Current is 7.9. Na? After deleting, you can get this data changed. Previously, you can see it is having the EC2 info or not, sir? You can see it here. This is the EC2 info. You are seeing the IP address and everything. Are you able to see it or not? Okay. You can see the volume information, subnet, everything you are seeing. But I'll close this one. Let me check it is removed or not, sir. It's got destroyed. So now if I click on refresh, the 7.9 will become 3.4. That means information is also removed from the state file, which is on S3 bucket. See, if I try to see here, I can see subnet. What I can see here? And if I scroll down, I can be able to see the VPC also. But where is EC2 here? Are you seeing EC2 here anymore? No, you can't see. Why? Because you don't have instance running here. Why? Because we removed it from the from the infrastructure. So now again, if I want to create, just to Terraform, apply. Automatically the server will create, and automatically the information is going to update on the state file, which is an S3 backend. So if you create a resource, information will update to state file. If you delete, information is also going to remove on the state file. Whether your state file is on local or it on S3, it will happen. But what is the primary function of putting the state file on S3? To provide privacy, security, and to make available for the remaining teammates. Is the concept of S3 clear for all of you know? S3 backend setup. Online, can you please confirm is the S3 backend setup for Terraform statefile clear for all of you know? Can you please confirm in chat box once? Okay, fine. So in interview, they are going to ask you a question. What is the difference between statefile and statefile backup? For example, let's take statefile. In statefile, if you create a resource, information will come to statefile. But unfortunately, if you're deleting the resource, statefile is going to lose the information or not, sir? That information is going to present on backup. If I create server 1, information will come to statefile. But if I delete, information will be losing from statefile or not, sir? Now statefile backup will store the information what you removed previously. Let me explain now here. If you can go and see. Backup file is a backup of the Terraform state file. Terraform automatically create backup of the state file before making any change to the state file. That means here I create the resource, information will come to the state file. But if I create, information will stay. But if I delete, information is going to stay or remove or not, sir? So before removing the information from my state file, this backup will capture the information of the server. Okay. And this is automatically created and managed by the Terraform itself. This will ensure you can recover from any corrupt or lost state file. For example, your current state file gone, or if your current state file got corrupted, if you want backup, this state file backup will give it for you. If you go and see, let me tell you this one. LL, are you seeing terraform.tf state.backup or not, sir? Cat terraform.tf state.backup. If I show this one, if you remove anything, previously I removed test VPC. Are you seeing test VPC here? That removed very long ago, but still information on backup file or not, sir? Yes. Scroll up. Test subnet I removed, but still I have the backup. Okay. And just let me show some other things also. If I scroll up here, are you seeing the information which you removed previously or not? That is the purpose of statefile backup. In interview, they'll ask you a question. What is the difference between backup statefile and current statefile? Current statefile will store the information of current resource, but backup statefile will store the information of your previous resource also. Yes, we can recall. If your current statefile is not working, you can go and refer the statefile backup itself. Only if it is not working. Huh? Okay. You can. Statefile is maintaining that one. For that purpose, you need to use some other concept called import. I'll tell later. That's it. And let's just make your state file come back to your local. Currently your state file is like working on where? No, in local or like S3? S3. Sir, but I want my state file back. So in that case, what you can do is you can run the command called Terraform state reconfigure. For example, let's take, I want to get my state file back. So use the command Terraform init migrate state and again Terraform init reconfigure. If you run both of these commands, now again state file will come back to your original place. Now you need not to maintain state file on the S3 backend, okay? It will come to your local only automatically. So like this. So from your local, you can manage the state file. Why? Because you don't need to manage it from the remote location. But before that, you need to make ensure VIM main.tf file. So remove this complete code in the, right. Remove this complete code in your and give Terraform apply one more time. Terraform apply. So just run these commands now. Basically, I need to run these commands now, but I remove like ran previously. It's completely fine. To give yes. Now telling that Terraform will now operate locally, right? So now Terraform apply. So of course, if your resource is deleted, you can recreate them, but my resource is running now. It's completely fine. Give the command ll. Are you seeing state file now? If I give cat terraform.tf state. Now is Terraform tf state is operating from locally or not, sir? This is basically in real time, we don't operate locally. You need to make it to S3 bucket. I shown you how to take it to S3 bucket. From S3 to local also I have shown. Is the concept of a S3 backend setup clear for all of you know? Online, what about you? Is the S3 backend setup clear for all of you know? Okay. Now finally, there are some state file commands you need to remember in real time. Terraform state list. You already know this command. What is the purpose? To list the resource in state file. For example, sir, I don't want to manage this instance from state file. Currently, state file is tracking the instance. I don't want to track the EC2 instance on my state file anymore. Give the command Terraform state RM. If I give RM, automatically Terraform will remove the instance information from state file. Now it won't track the state file anymore. Now give Terraform state list. Now state file is managing how many resources? 2. If you want to remove any resource information from state file, Terraform state RM. Of course, server will run, but it is not going to maintain from state file itself. That's it. So here I have given this command. Terraform state RM means to remove the state file information of a resource. Sir, for example, I want to see the complete information of subnet only. Basically, if I use cat terraform.state, I'll get the complete resource information. But my particular requirement is I want to see only information of subnet. So Terraform state, give the command show and this one. Now it will only show the subnet information. That means instead of showing the complete information, state file will show only subnet information like that. Similarly, sir, for example, I want to rename a attribute. Currently, I can give AWS subnet with label name 2. I want to make it as AWS subnet with block name 3. I want to change the block name from 2 to 3. How can you change? Terraform state MV. I want to rename AWS subnet of block name 2 to AWS subnet with block name 3. Automatically now Terraform will rename the block itself. But again, changes will be applied to block name only, but resource will not have any changes. Are you seeing block name is changing from 2 to 3 now? Are you able to see it or not? So here only the name of the block will change, but resource attributes will not change anything. Inside that file, only block name will change itself like that. So you have seen how to list the resource. And you have seen how to show specific resource. You have seen how to rename the resource attribute. You have seen how to remove also. And final one is Terraform state pull. For example, if your state file is on backend, state file is on backend. So if I use Terraform state pull command, automatically it is going to pull the state file information from backend to local itself. Of course, currently my state file is on local only. But imagine if your state file is on remote location, from remote location you want to pull the state file to your local. In that case, Terraform state pull. This will pull the state information from the backend. But don't worry, currently our state file is on local itself. That's it. So this is the concept of Terraform state file. In a high level overview, state file is going to be very, very important in your real-time aspect. Without state file, you cannot track the infrastructure. If you lost it, it will become very, very difficult for you to manage. Of course, even though if you lost state file, there is a way to recover the state file, which I'm going to explain on upcoming days for you. Is it clear for all of you know? In today's class, what we discussed? We discussed first of all locals, then workspaces, and finally S3 backend setup. These are the only topics which we see on today's session. So now before going for doubts and queries, first of all, how's the class for all of you today? Is it clear? Online, what about you guys? How's the class for all of you today? Can you please confirm in chat box? So notes I have given to your Google Classroom, you can take it. Fine. And again, the one more point I want to tell you is for tomorrow, class will be at morning 10:30 only for tomorrow. Okay. So please make sure that tomorrow you will be attending at 10:30 a.m. And after that, you will have time and you can prepare for the mock interviews. We will be trying to connect the mock interviews from afternoon 2 or 2:30. Okay. Hmm? Till now, whatever you prepared. Okay. So if you are interested in mock interviews, please drop a message for Telegram channel. Let me post on Telegram channel also. Wait, give me a second. Sorry. Yeah, Venkat, Mayuri, and like some other people also. Everybody will take mock interviews. So I'm giving a drop here. So tomorrow time will be 10:30 a.m. So I've given it. Okay. Please drop your names. So we are gonna send the time and everything on tomorrow session. Okay. Like at what time the mocks are going to be conducted. Tomorrow 10:30 a.m. Pujta class will be. And let me upload the class for you in Google Classroom. So online, any queries in the meanwhile, if you are having, please raise your hands. I'm gonna give unmute option for you. And offline, you can go ahead with the doubts and queries. No queries, huh? You have to practice. Yeah, that's correct. If you practice, you'll be getting more doubts. Hmm? For there also, I need to upload the notes. For your batch, I given the notes. Huh? For 4:30 also, I'm uploading their notes. It is their notes. Okay. So online, any queries from your end? Still. Those are removed servers actually. And let me remove the existing infra. I need to use Terraform destroy. Destroy, yeah. But in real time, for apply and destroy, we need to provide manual approval. Here I'm just showing you in general term, but in real time, there is some other way to do it. I'll tell you. Funny, you want to speak? Okay. Go ahead, Funny.
Sir, hi, sir.
Yeah, hello, Funny.
Sir, regarding AWS, I'm getting very issues, sir. Like I'm creating different accounts, so it is working for 3 to 4 hours, and will be getting blocked, sir. So till now, I created more accounts. Like I used my wife's PAN card, my father's PAN card. I created
Okay.
more than 5 to 6
No, no, no.
accounts.
Funny, let me tell you one thing. Basically, if you are creating an account with a card, you need to give details of that card only. For example, if you are creating an account with your card, you cannot give PAN card of your like your friend, your family. Like it's not acceptable. All the details need to be linked with one account only.
Yes, sir. I'm giving in the same way only, sir. So, for example, I used my wife's PAN card. So, related to my wife only, I give all the details, credit card details, and everything. That also worked for 2 days, and it was blocked, and it get blocked, sir.
And have you spoken with customer support, Funny?
No, sir, I haven't spoken. Before blocking, every time I'm getting the mail like billing will be generating for 3 to 4 thousand, and if we pay that, you will
Just do one thing
reactivate the.
funny. Do one thing
Uh,
funny. Just try to create the account with our mentor help. Okay. So tomorrow you can take the virtual lab. You can connect with the mentor. Ask him to create instead of you. Okay. Ask him to create the account on his laptop. Why? Because sometimes if you create an account on one laptop, if you are not giving the proper details, then the IP is gonna be blocked actually. This is also going to be happen like in recent times.
Yes, yes, sir. This also I faced a situation, and I asked you previously also. You said like try within a different laptop
Different
or
laptop.
system.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I tried in that way also. Uh, by creating with a different laptop, it worked for 1 week. one
Okay.
week or 10 days again it got blocked. This situation is happened for me from Kubernetes, sir, while I created the cluster. From the
Okay.
cluster itself I am getting this. From Jenkins, no issues. Jenkins, Docker, when Kubernetes cluster is creating, from that time it is getting the issues, sir.
In that case, like the only solution is to create the accounts. Why? Because if it is every time blocking means like I'm
Mhm.
not sure. Like it is happening only with you. I never heard this is blocking with anyone. Just do one thing funny. If you are having any of your friends or colleagues, just take IAM user of their user. Instead of creating an account and getting blocked,
Mhm.
ask your friend to give IAM permission. Okay, use that account for temporary.
Okay, okay, sir. Got
Okay,
you.
that is the best solution I can give for you.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. I'll try it in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, and hope you got a chance to see the screenshots,
Yeah, I
sir.
just seen before the class
Uh-huh,
start funny.
uh-huh. Okay, sir. Can you
Okay.
guide me on this, sir? Maybe when you are free tomorrow.
Sure, sure. When I feel like I'll let you know. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm like saying, Pallavi. When first time if you are creating the account, you need to provide all details properly. If you are not giving all details properly, second time it's not gonna take it. It's making it as invalid. So, customer support you need to contact. Yeah. Yes. So that is the thing you need to contact customer support regarding this. Git. Okay, not tomorrow. Some other day. I'm exhausted now almost all. Okay then. So guys, that's it for today's session, and let's meet on tomorrow's session with some new topic. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you. Thank you everyone.